Today we're going over the process for maintaining porous pave by doing a maintenance overhaul. All right, so step number one is indicating that there's a need for a maintenance overhaul. So you can see here that the product is becoming loose and a couple of pieces are coming up. So that's kind of your first tell that you might need a surface overcoat in order to keep everything tight and locked together. So once you've identified the need, go ahead and reach out, give us a call, or reach out to your original installer, and we'll get you set up for material to either do it yourself or to have the certified professional do it for you. Once we're on site, the first step of the process is to remove any obstacles, any furniture, blow off the pavement, and make sure there's no debris so we're clean for an overhaul. So now that everything's cleared, I'm going to grab my leaf blower and blow off all the debris. So now our surface is pretty close to completely clean, but areas where there might be a lot of sand or silt buildup, it's a good idea to use some low pressure water to see if you can wash that through. But be aware that when you're about to overcoat and you're laying down the binder material, you want to make sure this area is good and dry, or else it could cause some moisture issues. And then one thing I'll do just to make sure that area is ready for overhaul is I'll blow it off quick just to speed the drying process. Okay, so our surface is clean, but the next step we want to do is make sure we're taping off and covering any exposed surfaces that aren't the porous pave, because the binder material can stain, so any edging or concrete surrounding the area, we want to make sure it's covered and protected. Now that our surface is prepped and ready, I'll go over tools that I like to use for an overall application. I like an 18-inch, 3/4-inch nap paint roller. The 3/4-inch nap allows good saturation of the binder material in order to elongate your rolling a little bit better. And then a paintbrush for corners or tight areas, making sure you're not getting it on surrounding surfaces. And then we use a drill with a mixing attachment in order to stir up the binder in case any sediment is going to the bottom of the pails. And then a tote or a paint tray, large paint tray, in order to put the material in and dip your roller. All right, so the area is completely prepped. Now we're ready to get rolling. Here we're using our B5MB. It's a pre-thinned maintenance binder. So we'll open up this pail, get her poured, and get started. Want to be careful with this stuff that you're not spilling all over the place. So right now I'm just trying to saturate the paint roller, getting thorough coverage. She's ready here. So I'm going to start in this corner and then work my way back so I can have an exit strategy. I just want to keep this paint roller moving the whole time, making sure I'm not getting any puddling or pooling of the binder in one area. And then you just want a nice even coat throughout the entire surface. So you'll notice the shine in areas you have covered with the roller. So pay close attention to not over coverage the same area multiple times, just so there's not excess ambering or extra ambering in certain areas. So if you remember when the product was brand new and recently installed, it had this same shine like after the reapplication of the binder. Just like when it was originally installed, that will wear off in about 3 weeks, around a month. Then you'll get this kind of more matte finish again. So for square foot coverage, we estimate around 500 to 700 square feet, but it all kind of depends on how it's applied and the nature of the material we're applying it on. So how old it is or how it's been used. So the cure time, we like to give it typically about 24 hours. But depending on humidity, if humidity cures the binder faster, you probably could walk on it between 6 to 8 hours if needed. The binder overall maintenance should last 2 to 5 years depending on use. So it's pretty job dependent. It's recommended to keep an eye on your pavement and evaluate it often based off what we talked about over step 1. So if you have any further questions or you need material for binder maintenance or an overcoat, give us a call. Final step, job is complete. You just want to make sure you're blocking off this whole area for at least 24 hours, you know, to make sure people aren't walking on it and getting sticky feet.